Welcome back to the arcade. Well, today we're going to start part 2 of this K4800 monitor. We're trying to see if a repo flyback for a 4900 will work in the 4800. And in the first video, we kind of had mixed results. While it worked and we were getting a picture, I couldn't see any net glow, and the screen voltage had little to no effect. Had a slight effect, but it's kind of iffy. It's like it almost isn't even doing anything. So we have to do some further investigating. Now, I went ahead and ordered off of eBay a parts chassis, unknown condition, for Wells Gardner 4900, and here it is in the box here. Just came today. This isn't going to be an unboxing. I'm going to unbox it here in a minute, but I just wanted to show you the package, and I haven't seen anything like this in a long time. Usually when you take a package to the post office, you either prepay, you know, you got your own system where you weigh it, and you fix your own sticker and everything, and they come pick it up or whatever, or you take it to the post office and they weigh it, and then you pay them right there, and then they put the sticker on it. Well, look at this. This is zero. It costs nothing. But I'm assuming they paid with stamps. Look at here. It's a 15 cent, 15 cent. That's a 1976, 13 cent. And it wraps all the way around the box. Here's a Golf, 13 cent, more to 1776, 1976. And then starting back on the back on this side, we have USA 15 cent. We have a 13 cent USA, looks like a snowflake. That looks like a sundial. That's 10 cent USA. And then of course we got this USA to 15 cents, and they all kind of wrap around the package. I've never seen anything like it, and they don't appear to be stamps. They appear to be, I don't know, are they prepaid postcards? I mean, even down here you got some tennis ones, 10 cent tennis. Got some kind of animal on this one. I'm not sure what that is. That's 22 cent. There's a America's Cup, 15 cent, the America's Cup race. And these all look like they're some type of a card, as you can see right here. And there's a bunch of them. So somebody been collecting these cards, or maybe they ran into a stash of them somewhere, and I wasn't aware that you could, you know, do something like this and it would work. But I guess if the postage is paid on it, I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess you can use a postcard, a prepaid postcard, like a stamp. I just thought I'd show that. Okay, let me go ahead and open the box and see what we got. Okay, well, here's the 4900 chassis that I got off of eBay, and it is intact. Just in case anybody's curious, those were prepaid envelopes that was used as postage. I've never seen that done before, and they look quite old because they've turned kind of yellow. Here's a veterinary medicine, 15 cent. Here's a tennis, 1874 to 1974. So you can see it's the envelope. And here's a Christmas one with the snowflake, 25¢, has holiday greetings on it. And here's the kicker. On the back, right here, USPS 1988. So this thing was from 1988. So talk about saving your coins or saving your postage. And I guess a lot of these, if that's, there's no way of canceling these, so you know, you could probably reuse them. But anyway, I'm not going to do that. Okay, get back to the business at hand. Well, looking this over, first thing I did was I compared this original 4900 Flyback to the 4800 Flyback. And if we look at the 4800 Flyback, see if I can get it focused in here. The number is MSH1FAPO3. I think, yeah. I think that's it. And if we look at this, it is a MSH1FAPO8. Okay, so evidently the Flyback is different. Will it work? Kind of works, but I got to thinking, there's no way I would have got a picture on this if the heater voltage, you know, wasn't present. Is the heater voltage different? It shouldn't be, because both the tube in the 4800 and the 4900 both have a filament voltage of 6.3 volts. So I would say the filament voltage is okay. I'm just thinking that this tube, the way it's made, it's just hard to see the filament glow with the neck board on it. We're going to do a little experiment here in a couple minutes here to kind of show that it has to have voltage. Even though I can't measure the voltage, I don't have a voltmeter or a fancy oscilloscope or, you know, anything that can measure that 6.3 volts at the, was it 15.7 megahertz or something like that, kilohertz. But anyway, also what I noticed is, I'm thinking now that since the screen voltage, the screen adjustment on the new replacement Flyback isn't working, or doesn't appear to be working like it should, I got looking at this. Here's the original from the 4800. This is a MHF 028-02. All right, the one for the 4900 is a MHF 028-11. See, okay, there it is right there. So it's the same number except it's got a -11, and this has got a -02. What does that mean? Well, I'm thinking that maybe the focus screen block here has a different value resistor in it, and the Flyback could be essentially the same, but it's not getting the correct screen voltage because this is different. Or it could be the windings are different too. I don't know. So one of the things we're going to try is, since this Flyback was arcing up on the top here, and it's got a crack, I'm going to try to fill that crack in. It was arcing, and it didn't blow the hot, and it didn't blow the fuse. So I'm going to try to fill this in with a big glob of hot glue and see if I can keep it from arcing. And we'll put it back in and we'll try this and see if everything goes back to working. If that's the case, then I'm going to have to source an original Flyback, okay? But I still want to rule out any possibility that the repo Flyback is different than the original. So I'm hoping that this Flyback, haven't looked it over real good yet. But I'm going to look it over good for cracks. I'm going to remove it out the chassis, and we'll install it. And if we get the same exact thing with an original Flyback as we do the repo Flyback, then I could come to the conclusion that, yeah, this will probably work fine in a 4900, but it's not going to work in a 4800. So let's hope that this one holds together when I give it a try. What I also can do, I do have a working 4900 in a game. So I could, it needs a cap kit, or could use a cap kit. So I may pull that chassis out, pull the working Flyback off of that chassis, and put this on it just to see. You know, just to make double sure. But it's starting to look like the Flybacks are different. It has a different number. The focus screen block has a different number. Even though it looks the same on the schematic, and the same voltages feed both Flyback transformers. It's got the same exact voltages, but it doesn't tell you what the anode voltage should be, and it's nowhere on there tells you what the screen voltage should be. But I should think the screen voltage would be adjustable within a certain amount. From what I've been reading, a lot of screen voltages can be all over the place. It can be anywhere from 400 volts DC to 800 volts or even higher. So I'm going to have to kind of be careful measuring the screen voltage because my meter only goes up to 600 volts. Now the focus voltage, I believe that's going to be anywhere between 1 kilovolt and 2 kilovolt. So I can use my high voltage probe on that and measure the focus voltage. But the focus is working, so I'm thinking the focus pot is probably, you know, identical. It's the screen pot that I think is suspect. Now, can we check this with our own meter? I don't know. Maybe we'll look at the schematic. You can't get to the internal, the back side, unless you pull it apart to check them. But maybe we can check them through the windings. I don't know. We'll just have to see how it's wired up on the schematic and look at that. But anyway, first let's figure out whether we do have heater voltage or not. I'm now leaning towards we do, because if we didn't have heater voltage, we wouldn't have any emissions and we wouldn't have a picture. So let's prove that next. Okay, well, I was just getting ready to get set up to test the filament voltage, and I found something. I started looking at components around the screen. If you know, this wire that came from the new Flyback has this connector on it right here, and we had to splice this wire together. Well, I was getting ready to pull it off to check because this I think it's a 1500 picofarad at capacitor at 2000 volts. It's the only thing I was wondering if that maybe had shorted out and was shorting the screen voltage. So I was going to test it, see if it had a short. And when I was getting ready to pull this off, because I thought maybe it was feeding back through the Flyback, see how it's wiggling? I don't know if I can show it here. Let's see. There it is right there. And the whole solder ball there is wiggling, so that pin has come loose. So I'm going to solder that back together, and then we're going to try it just for grins and giggles. I don't think that is really the problem, but then again, it might be. If that's not connected, might not be getting the screen voltage. So let me solder that back and we'll try it out. Well, it's worse than I thought. I pulled the plug off, unsoldered it here, and the pin itself is nice and clean and got solder on it. But if we look here, where it solders onto the board, well, there's no pad there. The pad is gone. It doesn't look like there's ever been one there. It looks like a round circle. I'm going to try to clean it up with a little bit of sandpaper. And I'm sure that's got to be a connection. It's got to make contact. So, only thing I can think of is maybe it had been repaired one time before and somebody just, the solder was only sticking around the edge of the circle. I don't know, but I'll have to see what I can do about fixing that. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I think I got it fixed. I went ahead and cleaned the trace up real good, so I exposed the copper, and I pushed it back down into the board, and then I got me a piece of wire. Actually, it was a lead from one of the caps from the cap kit, and I twisted it into a loop to where I had a loop in the center that would go around the plug, and the little end would stick off on both sides. So then I put it down over top of it here and soldered it, and that's it right there. This whole piece right here. So it's good and solid. As long as it doesn't arc. I'm thinking that these cutouts in the board on either side of it is to keep high voltage from arcing there, so we'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully that's going to fix our problem. Wouldn't that be something if that's all it was the whole time and I've gone through all this? But it's a learning experience. So let me go ahead and let's fire it up. Go ahead and put the neck board back on. And you never know if we're going to have any sparks and flames and smoke, so yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed here. Let me turn the test pattern generator on. And by the way, I forgot and left this damn thing on and ran another battery dead. I got to make a modification to that thing and put some kind of indicator light on it. Either that or put a jack on it so I can power it off of a wall wart or something. Anyway. Okay, got it back on. Like I say, there's my repair right there. Tell you what I'm going to do. Let me find my little screwdriver here. I'm going to turn the screen voltage all the way down. Now, most monitors I've ever seen, if you turn them to the left, it turns the brightness down. And if you turn them to the right, it brightens up. So I'm going to start out with it all the way down and see what happens. So test pattern generator is on. Everything is hooked up. Alright. Let's see. I'm going to put this back down to 115 volts. The other day I kicked it up to 120, but I'm going to kick it back down to 115, the isolation transformer. Alright. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here, high voltage. Static anyway. And coming up. Okay, like I say, the screen is all the way down. Now, let me take the screwdriver and put it on the screen. Let's see if we got any screen voltage. Oh, look at there. Wow. Guess what? I think we figured it out. Ah, boy, see, sometimes it's just the simple things, and if you don't catch them, then it throws you for a wild goose chase. That looks pretty doggone good. All right, tell you what, let me see if I can turn the black level down, because it is all the way up now. Yes. Let's turn the black level down. Now, let's turn it all the way down. All right, let me turn it up till I start getting a picture. Now let me turn the screen up. I don't see retrace lines, but maybe if I turn the brightness down some, I mean not the brightness, the black level down some more. Let's just see what happens when I turn the screen up now. Yeah, that's too much, so we need to turn the black level back down. Now we need to turn the black level up and turn the screen down. That's where it had its best looking picture. All right, so let me turn the screen up just a little bit. I think now all it's going to be is a little bit of tweaking between the color pots and everything else. We definitely now have a working screen voltage. All right, well, the true test will come when I hook a game board up to it and see if we get a full picture, because right now we're still kind of seeing a little bit of blackness on the edge, but I think the test pattern generator does that. All right, let me turn the screen down till that disappears. Like I say, I think it's mainly just adjusting now. To getting the colors right, get the color balance right and everything. Okay, that looks pretty good. Convergence is still off. Like I say, I have another video where I started out doing a tube swap, so I got a lot of footage on the tube swap from, you know, finding the television, compatible television, and taking the tube out of it, putting the tube in this chassis, the whole 9 yards. So, you know, reinstalling the yoke, and I still got some convergence to do. So that's going to be in that video. But I think we can call this good right now. We don't have to do anything else. There was one more thing I wanted to do to prove a point. We do have a picture, and now we got the screen voltage fixed. We couldn't see net glow. Can we see net glow now? Well, let's find out. Let me turn this other light off. Still don't see any visible net glow. Let me go turn the overhead light off. I'll be right back, and we'll try it again. Okay, let's try this again. Do we have net glow? Same thing. We're getting a reflection from our power light. Cover that up. Very hard to see. I believe that's net glow right there. Yep, it's got net glow. There it is. Just have to get it in one little spot. The neck board is kind of hard to see it with the neck board on, but there it is. Yeah, 2 filaments right there. There they are. So we are getting net glow. Good. Okay. Let me get all the lights back on. Okay, I still want to show you how I came up with figuring out whether or not we have filament voltage. If you have a tube like this where you can't really make out the heater voltage, how can you figure it out if you don't have a voltmeter that'll measure it? Well, it's 6.3 volts AC, okay? And the heater voltage is nothing but a filament in a light bulb, basically. I mean, it's a heater element. It's not really made for light, but it's the same principle. You have a coil of wire in a vacuum, voltage applied to it, and it glows and heats up, and it puts off light. All right, well, right here I took a 555 light bulb, which is a standard light bulb. It's a 6.3 volt light bulb. It'll run off of AC or DC, it doesn't matter. These are a common bulb used in pinball machines. You can find them in coin doors. Some coin doors, you know, use 12 volts rather than 5 volts, but a lot of times they're powered by 5 volts. Sometimes they're powered by 6.3 volts, like in, I think, asteroids. It has a winding on the transformer on the power brick in the bottom of the cabinet that has a 6.3 volt AC that powers the coin lights, and it also powers the filament on the tube. Okay, so this kind of gave me the idea. it ought to light this light bulb is what I'm saying, if we put this across the filament voltage while it's on. So, don't have to worry about positive and negative, but I got a red and a green lead on it. I've already hooked it up with alligator clips and wrapped tape around it to insulate it, so I don't have to worry about getting shocked or anything. But I don't think you get shocked on 6.3 volts anyway. But I don't want to find out. So let me clip it right to the ground on the neck board. I could probably click it to any ground, but let's go right to the source, because that ground goes to the ground side, pin number 5 of the heater right here. All right, and pin number 4 is the hot, or the actual the hot, and the pin 5 is to neutral, basically, because that's AC voltage. All right, so let's go ahead and put it on pin 4. So between pin 4 and ground, let's see what happens. Alright, I don't think that was on ground. Alright, let me just put it on the chassis ground. I think I had it on the insulation there. Okay. Had a bad connection here. Sometimes demoing this stuff don't go as planned. Okay. There we go. Just bad contact on them alligator clips. There we go. It's lighting up the light bulb. Therefore, we have voltage going to the heater. So, and of course, if we didn't have voltage, we wouldn't have a picture. That's the main thing. That's what I kept going through my head over and over again. If there's no net glow, there's no voltage to the heater, how can you have emissions? It just didn't make sense. So that's why I was thinking it had to have heater voltage. So, okay, that's why in the other video, I even though I was suspecting the flyback was bad, I couldn't bring myself to say, yeah, the flyback is bad. Obviously, the flyback's not bad. Flyback is good. And I'm sure it's probably meant for a 4900, and it was probably tested in a 4900. There could still be a slight difference between the 4900 and the 4800 flyback. More than likely there is a slight difference, but they're so close to where I think you can get by with it. If you can't source an original, it looks like to me it will work. So that's the conclusion I've come to. Okay, so I'm going to end this video right here on a positive note. Took us a long time to get there, and it learned us another lesson, that you can't always see a cold solder joint. That joint looked fine. The solder looked fine. It didn't have any crack around the pin, but it was heaped up on there. And when I took the solder off of it, as you've seen, it's just like, I don't know what had happened. Maybe it had broke loose one time before and somebody had soldered it back, and they just put that big glob of solder on there, and like I say, it was just making contact around the outer edge of the copper. Well, it broke loose. So you just have to use a magnifying lens, magnifying glass, whatever, and go over these boards with a fine-tooth comb. Don't be scared to take and wiggle things. If it doesn't look like it's loose, give it a little wiggle. And if it is loose, you'll a lot of times see it. So lesson learned. And matter of fact, I found a half a dozen cracks on the board. Like I say, one of these resistors up here was just stuck in the board. I could take it, wiggle it a little bit, and pull it right off the board. So anyway, I've gone through the board. I put a cap kit in it, so it's good to go. So now I'll be able to go back to my other video and finish that up. So if you want to see a tube swap video, minus all the drama with the high voltage flyback, check it out. It'll be coming up soon, but haven't finished it yet because I still got some tweaking to do. So if you're interested in that, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss when I do finally upload it. Like I say, I got the first half of it done, but when I got to the part of firing the chassis up, that's when we had fire and smoke coming out the top of the transformer. I would like, for grins and giggles, maybe I'll make a separate video. I would like to just put the original back in and throw some hot glue on it and just see if it would work. And I'm not planning on using this monitor in any game. I probably just going to use it for a test monitor. And so yeah, we still need to hook a board to it though, don't we, to see if it fills the screen. But I can do that in the next video, the tube swap video. So we still have a question. Will the flyback affect the fullness of the picture on the screen? Right now I'm thinking no. I'm thinking it's going to be okay. But look forward to that video and we'll have the final answer to that question. So till next time, this has just been another arcade fix. Have you had your arcade fix today?